So a relative XPath is nice because it is a much cleaner way to identify elements and it is more stable. So the beauty of that is you usually identify the element once using relative XPath and then you don't have to worry about that element again changing locations depending on how you identify. But it's a very nice thing to have because you wouldn't have to worry about the element changing positions and so on and so forth. With its nice relative XPath, it will be very stable. Similar to relative and absolute folder paths, if any of you are familiar with those. Right, an absolute folder path gives you the exact location of the file. A relative folder path gives you the location of the file relative to something else. Right, you may be in one folder and it will say go up 2 folders and then go inside this other folder rather than always being located on the full absolute path. The only problem with relative XPath is that it takes more time to find the correct identifier using relative techniques. But after we're done with this lesson, you guys are going to be so amazing that you guys won't mind doing it. And so a relative XPath might look something like this. So if I want, for example, this button, rather than doing all of this, I'm going to remove all that. All right, so it would be something like this. See that if I hit enter, it highlights this button that I want. And if I wanted button 1, I can have button 1. You guys see that? Compare that to the absolute XPath, and you can right away see what's much cleaner and easier to use. Not only that, it's much easier to understand where this is pointing to, right? As opposed to something like this, like where the hell is this element pointing to? I have no idea. So relative XPath is where we're going to spend most of our time focusing and really mastering this skill. And once we're mastered with XPath identification, you guys will be so good and at the top of your game, ready to identify any elements anytime using any tool, especially with Selenium WebDriver.